Our next presenter is Tomomi. I'm going to ask you a question real quick, though, before I let her educate all of you. Who has cats? Yeah, that is an excellent response. I approve. So you're going to learn about how you can manage your life with your cats from Tomomi here. So here she is.
All right. Thank you. Hey, good morning. I know it's dark here. It doesn't look like in the morning, but I can tell it's morning because I'm not a morning person. I'm kind of still sort of sleepy. But this morning, yes, I am going to talk about my little Raspberry Pi project called KittyCam. So it's basically a camera app created with Node.js and Raspberry Pi. All right, so again, my name is Tomomi Imura. I think I'm a better known as a girly Mac. I've been using this handle name for a long time, like since the 90s or so. Yeah, and I consider myself a front-end engineer. I've been doing web development for a long time. And yeah, I'm an open web and tech advocate. So I used to be involved in more in W3C too. So I'm really a web standard person, like web standard all the way. Yeah, and I would say yes, a newbie. So today's topic is about hardware, but to be honest with you, I'm not really an expert. So I think this is going to encourage you to play around the hardware too, because I could even do this, so you can do that too. So yeah, so now you're going to hear more from hardware stuff from me. And again, like I really have no electrical engineering background. And as a day job, I am doing a developer evangelism. I'm a dev evangelist at a company called PubNub in San Francisco. And we have a few of our local, like PDX area coworkers here, sitting over here too. And oh yeah, some of you might have known this. So I gave myself 15 minutes of fame like 3.5 years ago when I created HTTP status cats. So basically they are HTTP error codes, but with cats. And I even have an awesome domain name here, http.cat. It is a thing, it's a .cat domain name, like top level domain. It is a thing, really. So, I was a kid who loves like technology. Well, I would say I wanted to be an astrologist, and I always liked the science, but I was born and grown up in Japan, where the gender role is really a thing there. My parents didn't really encourage me in pursuing my science career at all. So I was doing some crafty stuff, yes. I still do crafty things like knitting things, but that time I was making dolls instead of robots. Well, it was okay, I liked it anyways. Then, about like 10 years ago, when the Maker Fair started, I was like, wow, this is everything I love, I'm still crafty, and I like all the science and stuff, Actually, so I did go to college. I studied science, but not computer science. I did biology and chemistry. Yeah, my parents didn't like the idea, but I did it anyway, and I liked it. But eventually, yes, I moved on to the software engineering later on, but anyways. So yes, all the maker movement was something really awesome. I loved it. And when I see something like those robots, I'm like, wow, I want to make one of those too. Because I never had a chance to make one of, as when I was growing up. But, not bad. So, yes, I haven't done any of those kind of fun robot making things for a long time until when I saw the Arduino. So this was really phenomenal for me. So before that, all those electrical engineering things kind of scared me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any friends who taught me, who could teach me, and I didn't know what to do. But this is really very first developer-friendly microcontroller kit. It's all open source. Hardware, software, it's open source all the way. It's pretty awesome. But here are the things. The language it's used, required for Arduino, it's a C-based language called Sketch. I'm like, okay, C. Like again, I didn't study computer science in the school, so I didn't know how to write in C. And I did try one time when I wanted to play with the Pebble Watch, but I didn't really like it. I mean, like again, I'm a JavaScript person, so I didn't know how to manage memories, and like, I just didn't feel comfortable. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna do this. Like again, I'm a JavaScript person. I'm a web dev. So I actually haven't really done much with Arduino until I found out about Johnny 5. So that's an open source JavaScript robotics framework. And it is cool as it sounds. And it works with all Arduino compatible boards. And there are some I/O plugins that support other platforms too. So that was created by Rick Waldron. Actually, it's funny. I was just talking with Emily upstairs, like just now. She called it jQuery of hardware. I think it's right what you say. It's kind of interesting. It is. I never thought about it, but yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. So now I can write everything in JavaScript. Woohoo! So I created this little project called KitCam. This is a Raspberry Pi camera. I mean, the Raspberry Pi with camera here and a PIR sensor here. And the software side, so for this particular, not this one, but initially I used a Raspberry Pi 2 because that was the newest at the time. I started this project last year and using a regular like a $25 camera module and a really cheap PIR sensor. And the software side, yes, I use Node.js and Johnny 5 and all other open source goodies. So, all right, this is the video I created. It's really amateur video. So it's my kitty, Jamie. Oh, he's a good kitty. It's kind of ghetto. I just duct tape it. I mean, tape it on the I didn't really nail it, screw it on that wall. Anyways, so this is what it is in KitCam. And so again, this is a Raspberry Pi 2 with some other stuff. And this colorful thing's a Lego. This Smarty Pi is really a cool product. It's Raspberry Pi case that works with 2 and 3, and I think other models like B+2. And that's come with a case for camera. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I think it used to be on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or one of those, crowdfunding. And now it's sold on Amazon, I believe. So when I open it up, yeah, this is how it looked like. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't do anything special here. This doesn't even require the soldering. And you don't even see a breadboard here, right? Because I can just plug in those wires straight to the GPIO pins here. And the camera module, it comes with ribbon and a slot, so you can just pop in. It's really simple hardware. So again, the programming languages. So this is Raspberry Pi. It's a little different from Arduino. I'm often asked what's the difference. The thing is, Raspberry Pi actually runs a full-fledged operating system. So in this case, I installed the Raspbian OS. That's a Debian variant, I think. So there are pre-installed languages here, like Python, which is a recommended language for Raspberry Pi, and Scratch, Java, Ruby, and such. So initially, when I started using Raspberry Pi, I actually did start from Python. But you know what? I prefer squiggly brackets with JavaScript. I don't like Python much. So yeah, so I decided to install Node.js, of course. Like again, this is Linux, so you can basically install anything that runs on Linux, right? So there is a thing. So when you go to nodejs.org, you scroll a little bit down. There is a such thing as additional platforms. And you see the first one, it's ARM binaries. For Raspberry Pi, you can just get the V7. So when I started this project, it wasn't available on the official site, but now it is. So it's really easy to just download and install. Well, you don't have to even use wget. So like the screenshot before, this is really in the Raspbian. I mean, Raspberry Pi. So this is a Raspberry screen. So you can just click and download and use just a tool to compress it. So it's really easy now. It's easier than before. So yeah, once I got installed, Node.js, I started coding KittyCam. So this is how KittyCam.js works. So first, detecting motion by using this hardware here, right? This little dome here. So that is an infrared motion sensor. So once the motion is detected, and it takes a photo. Again, it has a camera module attached here. And it processes the photo and see if cats are on the photo. That's a cool part. And then if cats in a photo, just send the photos in the cloud. And I can monitor it real time using using a socket to view that photos real time anywhere in the world. So basically, my camera is at home, but I can monitor my cat when I'm at the work. So here's a tech stack. So using Johnny 5, they are the motion object to detect motion. And I'm using Raspberry still. That's a command line tool that comes with Raspberry to take a photo. And facial detection, for the cat facial detection, I'm using open source. It's a JavaScript, open source and library called KittyDar. That's really awesome. I'll talk about it soon. And then I'm using Cloudinary for a cloud because they provide really easy to use APIs for Node.js. And then lastly, I'm using PubNub network for the socket connection. So that's, again, I mentioned earlier, this is a company I worked at, and we take care of the global data stream network. So we can publish the URL data and subscribe the data to the web really easily. And this diagram, this diagram shows pretty much what I just explained. So this is how I code this app. So I'm using Johnny 5 with Raspberry IO. So I require this package, Johnny 5 and Raspberry IO, which is written by Brian Hughes. Actually, he helped me a lot when I was working on this project. I actually bugged him a lot this weekend too. Anyways. So so first you instantiate this board object, board here. So when board is ready, so when the ready event is triggered, you do stuff. So it's that simple. It's really, Johnny 5 is, created like high level and super easy to use. So this is really how you get started. And then using this motion sensor here. So once board is ready, I'm creating another instance. It's motion instance here to get the data from this sensor. So this is attached to the pins. Raspberry Pi has a programmable GPIO pins, right? So there's 3 wires going in. One goes to ground, another one goes to ground, and then data wire goes to GPIO pin 7. So that's how you configure. Then Raspberry still command line. So you can just go on a terminal and try Raspberry still, and there's some arguments there, and you can just take a photo quite easily. So I want to use that in my node code too, of course. So this is how I did. So here I'm requiring child process here. So when the motion start event is fired, so that means when this is sending the data, that's like, okay, motion's sensed. I'm calling this child process in a spawn method to spawn command line shell commands here, the Raspberry still. And it has some argument to provide some extra data. So as you can see, I'm using really small resolutions here. That was really like a trial and error process for me. This camera itself is a 5 megapixel, so it can have a better photos. But then the thing is, I have to run a lot of commands here, and this is really tiny computer that can handle that much. And image processing, I'll talk about it next, takes quite a amount of time. Not just time, the processing power. So I come up with such a small number of resolution when I was trying with the Raspberry Pi 2. So anyway, so when this process is done and photo is taken, and save as whatever, just some file name here. So this is the processing photos. So once the picture is taken, this photo will be processed in another process here. So I'm using child process again, but this time I'm using the fork method to just dump this whole operation to another process. Yeah, because like again, if you don't want to try this in a single process, because each time my cat or whatever's moving around, it takes photo like constantly, and I have to send it during the processing. So it really queues up quick. So I'm dumping the whole things to like again multiple processing here, and then I take everything to another JavaScript file. Then once it's done, and if cats are there, send into the cloud. I'm actually sending the base64 here to the cloud. Oh, come on, get stuck here. All right. So here for the processing, to see if cat's present on a photo, I'm using Kitty-dar. That's really awesome. It's known as an open source JavaScript library for feline facial detection written by Heather Arthur. And it takes, this takes a canvas object. So yes, photos taken, and it's all JPEG files, but now have to convert it into a canvas to process it. So that's why process takes quite a amount of time. So yeah, once just giving a canvas object here that calculate the location of that cat's image. So that's really not the entire code. It's just only part of it. But basically, what it does is you need a Kitty-dar and canvas. I'm using Node Canvas here, and creating a canvas object here from the JPEG image and detecting a cat. And once cat is detected, so cat.length is larger than 0. It's kind of funny. Sending this a base64 to the cloud. So, Kitty-dar behind the scene. So basically how it works is so when you're taking photos, it's color photos. It's pretty complicated. A JavaScript, you can't really see if the cats are there or not. So basically, Kitty-dar does a really smart, handling it really in a smart way by creating the color photos in like dark or light, like taking a gradient. You split the picture in like dark part and light part and try to figure out the edge of the shape in the photos. To be honest, I don't know exactly how it works, but so once you get the edges and compare it with some existing data. So those existing data I'm talking about is not only in JSON, and JSON with the vector data in a neural network, and that was pre-trained with a whole bunch of photos with cats or non-cat object. And this project seems to be based on this Microsoft research. It's actually pretty cool that Microsoft has the people and the budget to do kind of research. So that's what I mean by creating, detecting edge from the picture. It's all just light and dark photos. And here I'm taking some points, 9 points. So basically, they can figure out if it's a cat or not by seeing the ears and eyes and know some distance in between. So yeah, then once you get send it to cloud, I'm not explaining on slide, but I'm using a Cloudin API, which is quite easy to use. And after that, I got to explain about how PubNub works since I work there, right? So yeah, it's just a required PubNub install the required package, and you have to publish it. So what it works is you get in data from Raspberry Pi and publish the data to the PubNub. So get a channel name and a message. In this case, I'm just using image URL. And it has a success callback and error callback. There are some other params too, but this is like simplest way to make it work. So publishing the data, and subscribing. So getting the data from the PubNub to the web browser. So this time, as soon as image URL is published, it's automatically subscribed to the browser. So this is actually a different separated HTML or JavaScript code for front end. So once receive the URL, just dumping the whole thing in a DOM. I mean the display on the DOM. So this is how it look like. So this is my web part of this app. So yeah, it's cute. Actually, I have a real thing. Let me see. This is just a screenshot. Hold on a second. No, not that one. Okay. I was actually testing with a new hardware this weekend, like before I come here. So I was the first two photos actually testing photos. But yeah, oh, my kitty's head. And I was taking care of my friend's cats while they're on vacations. So I have a friend's cats. Those cats look the same, but they're different. That one's Ginger. The other one's Basil. Yeah, so you can see my kitty eating. Oh gosh. Sometimes, yeah, the facial detection doesn't really, work and as it's supposed to, because those are definitely not right. Face, it's just some fluffy matter. Anyway. Okay. Oh, it's Wi-Fi connection is really bad here because they're trying to connect. I can't go in a presentation mode. Oh, damn it. I might have to present in this view. Okay, come on. Yeah, maybe I can just use view into full screen. Hope it works. So my favorite photos. I don't think you can really see well, but the first photos has multiple cats, 2 cats. Yeah, it's always nice to see the multiple cats detected. And the next one is a cat, real cat versus fake cat. It has a plush toy here from Nico Atsume. Do you guys play this game? Cat Collector? That game. Yeah, it's really fun. So that's a plush toy that I got at Tokyo. And another one is my cat sticking it tongue out. It's always cute to see the animals sticking it tongue out. And then another one is kitty Venom. He works at the TV station because I've actually done this demo on live TV before. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, finally, this is my QA team. I have the best QA team. And my lead QA is Jamie, my kitty, and I have friends kitties and Ginger, Basil, Alice, Yugi, and the Venom, the only one with a Twitter handle here. So yeah, that's actually a screenshot of the TV show I've done. It's a Twit TV. It's called the show is called The Screensavers, and it's a Leo Leopard TV show. It was really fun. So this demo worked fine in a live TV show, but my presentation slide doesn't work here, so I'm not happy about that. All right. So yeah, so my entire project here is available on GitHub here. I already see many stars, which is pretty nice. So you can check that out. And the next steps will be in upgrading the hardware to Raspberry Pi 3. It just came out recently. Actually, the red check mark indicates I've done it. So actually, I just did it in this weekend, and but I still want to kind of have a better camera because this module, this camera module is nice, but it really requires, light. And even around like 6 p.m., maybe not this time, it's summer now, but my room will always get kind of dark, so this camera doesn't really work nicely. So I would want to have a better camera. And upgrading Node and all dependency, I've just done it too. Yeah. So initially with the project, I was using Node .012. I mean the .12, 0.12, whatever. So that was a I merged old Node.js, but now I upgraded to a latest stable one, and everything's working fine. And then maybe in the future, maybe I want to add more features, maybe. And it could be cat identification using RFID, because each cat has a microchip right? So it scans an ID, and maybe I have some cat database matching the ID with the cat's name. But I have only one cat so far. Maybe I adapt more later. So that's not sure, TBD. And yeah, maybe I can create some filters. It's too much. I think it's overkill. But I previously wrote some library to make kind of like a Instagram-like filter with JavaScript. But I did it a long time ago, so I didn't use workers and stuff. So I had to rewrite it if I want to do this. Yeah. So, all right. So this is it. So thank you so much. And my slide is available in the URL there. Yep. All right.